them over to my 2 and 3 at a time. That works.
All right. Welcome to the second month of Rotary. The second month of the Rotary year, that is, and the August 3rd meeting, and summer is in full swing. I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity. Slides will advance. That's scary. Yeah, well, maybe it's. Anyhow, this is one of my favorite quotes from a Kenny Chesney song. It's a smile, it's a kiss, it's a sip of wine, it's summertime, sweet summertime. And so I like to celebrate summer, as you can tell. Diana is in Lake Tahoe enjoying her family. Apparently they have a cabin there. So we gave her the day off, and it is my pleasure to be here and get this party started. So I want to thank Bob Kieser and Michael McLaughlin. What a team. How about those guys? Let's give them a hand. They helped with setup and takedown today officially, but I want to thank you all for jumping in and being part of that team. And Jim Gilliam, is Jim here? You're right here, and he's our roving microphone today. Thank you for that, Jim. And look at his shirt, it says no problem. And I say Caribbean life. I don't know if that's a Midwest thing, Caribbean, which is the right way. Is there a right way? Depends on where you're from. Well, I say Caribbean, and Jim Gilliam says no problem. So thank you for doing the mic. And Michael Cook, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Certainly. Please face the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Michael. And Jerry Meshalem, you are the presenter of the Thought for the Day. By the way, Jerry took the picture of this hawk, and this is Jerry and I hanging out at one of the past pets. So, here we go.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, the thought for today was inspired by this morning's sunrise. If you saw that, it was gorgeous, bright red. And the old sailors saying, red sky at night, sailors delight, red sky at morning, sailors take warning. Which, by the way, I looked it up, was actually something similar. It goes all the way back at least to the time of Jesus. He said in the Bible, there's a reference of Jesus talking about that. If you can believe that.
Wow.
Wow.
Amazing. Thank you for the thought for the day, Jerry. And thank you for your beautiful photography. Jerry sold me this print, so I have free license to use it. He said, yes, you may buy it as long as you donate to our foundation. So that's what I did, and you can too. So, songtime.
Hey.
Hi, Joe.
Linda, how are you?
I'm great.
Nice to see you here.
I think we need to boogie a little bit, don't you?
Boogie?
We're gonna boogie.
Let's boogie. Okay.
All right.
We're gonna be dancing in the streets, everybody.
You know, come on now. Around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right. We're dancing in the streets, dancing in Chicago, down in New Orleans, and in New York City. All we need is music, music everywhere. Every swing is swaying, and records playing, dancing in the street. Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's an invitation across the nation, a chance for folks to meet. There'll be laughing and singing and music swinging, dancing in the street, Philadelphia, PA. From what we see now, like a rhythm of the city. All we need is music, sweet music, music everywhere. Where swinging, swaying, dancing in the streets.
All time verses.
All 10 verses.
Okay, good. So we have a visiting Rotarian, and Kathy Rogers will do the introduction.
Are you Maria? This is, come on, stand up. This is Maria Lemus with Rancho Cotati, a Rotary and a past president.
Good morning. I'm so happy to be here. I don't normally get up this early. And thank you for having me here. I'm happy to, wanted to come over today to share that we're having a fundraiser to raise some funds for the Ukrainian family. And if you don't know, we're part of the grant. We're working with, David approached us to work with you guys on the grant, and we were looking to where to place the funds. So this is gonna be a phenomenal, tickets are $80 for 2 people. Come have fun dancing like we're dancing in the street. We're also going to have karaoke, but again, this is going to go to the Ukrainian family that is coming, and we want to support the Ukrainians. And actually, they're going to be living 4 houses down from one of our Rotary, our current president. So we hope to integrate them into the community, and with your support on this, event, we can raise some funds for them. So if you're interested, let me know, but I'm going to leave a flyer here, and it's really nice to see everybody this morning.
Nice to see you too, Maria, and we'll get it on our website. Thank you. If you have a guest at your table, would you please raise your hand?
Meet Gonzalo Ochoa, who is our presenter today.
Any guests? Any other guests? Okay. So we have a caption contest. When you see your caption come up, please read it out loud, and the way we're going to judge, whichever caption gets the most applause wins. So clap for your favorite caption, and to start us off, we have Kathy Rogers.
Three amigos.
Yay.
Is that it?
No, we're waiting for the microphone.
Why are these women smiling?
Yeah.
What do you call them?
Well, I don't call Michael a woman.
She's not smiling.
And,
Mom always said if you did that with your face, it might stick like that forever.
all right. Marnie's not here, so I'll read her. She was on the same thought wave as Kathy. Tres amigos amigas.
There we go.
Yay for Marnie. Nick. Or John, beg your pardon.
Most of my friends frown when I howl across the vineyards, but Rotary friends are the best.
Yay! And Terry Terry Kelly.
Where's the actual president?
Yay. And this was Nick's, I don't see Nick today, but he said, proud zookeeper, show off, Agent Gorilla. And finally, Michael.
Smooches for uses.
I say Nick Randall does it. I will save his payday for him. You see him on the golf, are you gonna see him on the golf course, Michael?
He's in New York.
Okay, we'll save it for him. Thanks for playing. So we didn't have any anniversaries this week, but I did find some divorces. So this week in history, Kelly Clarkson, Gwen Stefani, George Foreman, and Stevie Wonder all got divorced. So happy divorces to them. And Esmeralda, happy anniversary to you guys. You're helping us in our second Rotary year. Yay! And a little birdie told me, kind of, it was your birthday, so happy birthday Monday. So, anyhow, we appreciate you and thank you for all that you and your husband do, and thanks for being here. Yay.
Thank you for the French toast this morning.
So along with Esmeralda, we have a Rotarian that has a birthday coming up on August 7th. And many of you may recall, I like to ask for baby pictures. So who do you think this baby is?
Good enough.
Any other guesses?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. It's me! I told you. Yeah, I'm going to be, I don't know, it's not a golden birthday, because that's the date you were born, but I'm going to be 61, and I was born in 61, so that's gotta be something, right? So,
Lego bottom.
yeah. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to the Bodega Fire Department barbecue, so nobody has to cook. We're gonna show up there around 11:30 if y'all wanna join us.
Which day is that?
That's August 7th. Is it Sunday? Sunday, August 7th. So 11:30 at the fire department, and we can support the Bodega Fire Department, and then afterwards we'll have cake on the patio at Linda's Freestone Kitchen. So everybody's welcome. Let us know if you're coming, or we'll see you at the firehouse. And, oh, Mark Olson at Forestville Pharmacy is still giving out booster shots. Jim and I went and got our 4th shot. And first time he gave us coupons for burritos from the Mexican restaurant across the street. Right now he's got the Gravensteins. So go get your booster and come home with a bag of apples. And the Gravensteins are especially good this year, so that's pretty awesome. And then we have opportunities. You heard from Maria about the opportunities to help the Ukrainian family who's coming to town. David has a lot of information on how we can help too, and I know it's out in our emails as well, and we'll get it on the website. So lots of places to research how we can help if you're so inclined. And also the Festival of Brotherhood is being revived, and another great opportunity, David's, again, a wonderful resource, as well as Dayland Night. That's coming up in October. And our student has arrived from Denmark. She is here in Sonoma County, and we'll get to meet her next week, I believe. Her name is Sarah. Looks like she likes soccer. I got that off her Facebook. And yeah, she's from Denmark, so look forward to meeting her next week. And then Kathy, what's up on Friday? It's the Kathy Rogers Show. You gotta laugh.
We're doing a repeat. We're doing a repeat. First Friday, we're gonna start out at Third Pig at 5:30 and then walk on down to Hip Pizzazz. Because next month, Terry Kelly's gonna host us. There we go. So for the following months, we'll be probably doing potluck. So this will be our last one before winter. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for getting that e-bite out. Check your e-bite and RSVP, please. And then, Michael, you want to talk a little bit about the lobster feed?
I do. It's getting close. We are, at this point, just about 8 weeks out. So let's talk about what that means and what has to happen between now and then, because there is pretty essential timing involved in this whole thing. Right now, we're in the process of gathering our auction items together. We need to have 15 live auction items. We have an absolutely fantastic auctioneer that hasn't been seen in Sebastopol, I don't think ever, but Marty arranged for him. And he's gonna be super. I've talked to him a couple of times already. So we're collecting, we need to get live auction items. We also need to get silent auction items, and that all needs to happen in the next 4 weeks. We've got 8 weeks before the event. All of our auction items need to be together in the next 4 weeks. So it's a matter of everybody, joining in. Regifting is a perfect way to handle silent auction items. So if you've got stuff that is sitting in a cabinet someplace, you haven't used it, bring it. We're gonna hopefully get some art stuff, some paintings and things from the art center that we'll be able to use. Live auction items, we really need to have 15. Let me explain. I mean, we kind of all know the math here, but basically half of the revenue that we're gonna get is from people attending the dinner itself. But out of that, we have all the expenses that have to be paid. So that's not nearly as profitable. The live and silent auctions are where we're gonna make our money. So we need to make $30,000 or so on our live and silent auction combined. So what I'd like you to do, I mean, everybody is afraid of rejection. Nobody likes to go out and ask for fear of somebody's gonna say no. Fuck it up, do it. And I would ask that in the next week, everyone take 1 hour and think about auction items and do something about it. So that next week at this time, we're gonna have some success. We're gonna start selling our tickets in the next week or so. All of our promotional materials are together, so we're moving along, but we need to get the auction together, because at that point, everything else will fall into place. So,
Is there a meeting following this?
there is a meeting following this for the decorations, people that want to be involved in decorations. We've got some great ideas for that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to get out on the floor and do some drawing and make stuff. So stick around for that effort. John?
Get a donation, what do we do?
Silent donations go to Lori, and live auction items, you can talk to me, or you can talk to Linda, or you can talk to Terry.
Great. So let's do this.
The event is going to be on October 8th, and it's going to be at the Sebastopol Center for the Arts. We've got the entire facility. We're going to do the dinner in the main room there in the auditorium. We're going to do the silent auction in the Little Red Hen room, and we're going to cook the lobsters out on that deck that is along the Little Red Hen room. So everybody, as they're in there doing the silent auction, is going to be able to see us actually preparing the lobsters out there. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for all your efforts, and let's help Michael. Let's make this a success. So it's Kathy Rogers again. We had a scark last week. It was very nice at the Boleto Vineyards. So grateful to John for providing the venue.
Do that on purpose, don't you? Sonoma County Area Association of Rotary Clubs. I can't see that far, so, So I just want to go around. Joe was one of the first ones there setting up the music. Yahoo! Terry then dealt with all the music and the sound system while we were there. Marty was the saddest one because he had to deal with the name badges, and I did all the RSVPs and wrote them, so I was a little possessive of them. So Marty did great with me. He really, again, I apologize for that, Marty. And course, Michael was in charge of food, and he worked like a dog through the whole thing. The rest of us were sitting around, eating, visiting, and he's behind serving. And it never would have happened, oh my gosh, if it wasn't for Bill. Bill got the venue, it was free, he made sure it was set up, he got all the free wine for us. Yeah, that was really terrific. And I'm just sort of going through the tables. And Michael was in charge of the money, and you know what? He's a really good person to have in charge. He was not leaving that money sight. He was dedicated to making it right. So that was really cool. And then Linda, was like, oh, it's Mexican theme? And so, of course, she was in charge of all the decorations, and what can I say? Serapi's Mexican hat, cucarachas. I mean, it was fun. And
Maracas.
And I think I'm good. I think I've the main people. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you for organizing it, and thank you. I do appreciate it. It was a success. And now it gives me great pleasure to invite my mentee, Linda Taylor, to come up. This is her "Who Am I" moment.
Oh, nice.
So give that girl a microphone. This is how you advance this. This is right there. Yeah, and you have a microphone.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, who am I? I grew up in Bodega Bay, and as you can see, our family had some property along the waterfront that they bought in 1942, and there's some old pictures showing where it says boats and cabins and all that was the way it looked like when we first bought it, and then there's a picture that shows what it looks like after many years of working and building and adding on all sorts of other businesses. And okay, so I grew up in Bodega Bay, where a family since 1942 had these various businesses and 2 restaurants. One of them that burned down in the 1960s. There's a picture of it before. It was right along Highway 1, and then a picture of it after it burnt down. Anyway, I had a hodgepodge of jobs throughout my life, starting at age 11. I washed dishes, no automatic dishwashers in those days, or child labor laws for family business. Followed by bussing tables, waitressing and hostessing, and working in the kitchen. And we had a motel, and I used to clean motel rooms and then the motel office. And I also worked with my mom in the gift shop. That really had a lot of fun doing that in the gift shop. And I'd go to the gift shows with her and keep track of all the orders and remind her of our pre-shopping plans. And when orders were ready, I'd go down to San Francisco and pick them all up in our big extra large van. And before long, when I was in, a sophomore or junior in high school, I used to manage the shop and employees to give my mom some respite. And then in between, I worked with my dad, so that's my mom and dad and myself. In between, I worked with my dad preparing bank deposits and balancing checkbooks. And later I worked with our on-site bookkeeper, where I learned to make payroll, do accounts payable and receivable, quarterlies, and prepare tax information to go to the accountant. No computer QuickBooks in those days. And later we processed locks, and I'd fill in on the line when needed.
growing up, 2nd through 8th grade, I was away at an all-girls boarding school at Dominican in San Rafael. And then my teenage years were at Amherst, where I graduated in 1965. I met a local boy my senior year and married the following fall and moved to Sebastopol, where I've lived ever since. I immediately applied and was hired by Bank of America, and later years, Bank of Sonoma County. And in ensuing years, we had 2 sons who are now married, and there are 5 grandchildren, 3 of which I share with Michael Bells. Life was nonstop. Besides our jobs, my husband and I were heavily involved with our son's sports. He coached and refereed, and both of us were on the various boards and ran concession stands, and I was also a Little League treasurer. If we had any time off, we liked to camp, hike, fly fish, and celebrate family occasions. And in addition, I took night classes at JC. I also had the opportunity to do some traveling, like going with the younger son's junior high school class quite to Washington, D.C. And I even did a 7-year stint in a row to the Shakespeare Festival with a busload of other Sebastopolians. Anyway, that was a great trip. And then I had other special trips all over Europe, a trip to Africa, Russia, and then family vacations to Mexico and Hawaii and Alaska and Canada. And then most recently in the last trip, which was the shape there, was Central America and through the Panama Canal. That's a great picture of the Panama Canal. And on to Colombia and Aruba, and ended in Florida just as this Tubbs fire was raging. I volunteered at the Great Labor Center when it very first started, and our meetings were out of the Mexico Lindo restaurant, where we would have some pan dulce and chocolate in the mornings. And I also remember being a candy striker at Memorial Hospital. This is what our uniform, that's not me, but it's what our little uniforms looked like in those days. In addition, our family and the Mark Stevens family built the Sebastopol Inn with the office and retail spaces. Our oldest son actually put the business together and ran it for the first year, and then he and his fiance opened the New Dawn Baseball that was there for a while. My then husband and I did the night audit for a while at the inn, and then I helped at the spa. They used to call me Spa Mom, until it was sold. We also built the first 3 commercial buildings on Morris Street, and again, our eldest son put together and ran Coach's Corner for the first year. And after that, I also helped our youngest son, who was a budding winemaker. I sorted grapes and other miscellaneous jobs. I love to cook, read, watercolor, walk on the beach, art exhibits and theater, as well as spend time with family and friends. And then 12 years ago, at age 63, my husband and I bought 5 acres and built a house and a barn. Sadly, 2 years later, we divorced, but all is good. At this point, there were 3 raised beds, which shows it there. And then later, I decided after reading a book by Englishman John Seymour on how to live self-sufficiently on 1 or 5 acres, 5 acres was perfect because that's what I had, that I would pursue that path. And I made a plan and proceeded with the infrastructure, putting in a new fence, drip irrigation, fruit trees, and a place for medicinal herbs and flowers. And let's see, I added a total of 24 raised beds, which you can see somewhere. That shows the barn. Let's see. A greenhouse, shade house, a solar array, put in by our eldest son, who's now has a solar business. A pergola with a 12-foot picnic table underneath, and benches under it for family gatherings. And of course, I didn't stop there. I needed pollinators. So I took classes, added beehives, then chickens, a coop and a run. And oh, I also needed to know how to process it all, from harvesting, canning, freezing, dehydrating, seed saving, and pruning. And then thanks to our younger son, there's some of the lavender and chamomile, or a couple of things. Oh, there's the chickens, and a sow, and then I added boar, and the ewe. Oh, that's not me. Okay. So a whole new set of learning skills were required at this time in my life for the farm. And I have so many stories on how I learned them and what they added to my little farm and my life. But last October, at age 75, I sold the mini farm, and now I just shuttle grandkids to and fro to practices and games. So I've come full circle and just started to relax, but that was short-lived when David Mark Ramsey invited me to the meeting, and the rest you know. I only hope that I still have enough energy to live up to your expectations. Thanks for accepting.
Awesome. Would you like to now introduce our speaker, Michael?
Yeah, it's my pleasure to introduce Gonzalo Ochoa. Gonzalo is the proprietor of the Galleria Monarca on the Main Street. And because I walk my dog past that spot almost every morning, I watched it, and I was enjoying watching the progress of what was an empty storefront turning into this beautiful gallery space with beautiful paintings and later on with plants and so on. So I talked to Charlie and I said, you know, it'd be great to have Gonzalo come in and talk to us and learn a bit more about the project. He's involved with a co-director, art director, Nathan Silva. And Gonzalo has lived here in Sebastopol for the last 13 years. He makes money as a plumber to support this really excellent project. So I'd like to turn it over to Gonzalo.
Thank you, Jim. How's it going, you guys? Thank you so much for inviting me over. I really appreciate this. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody that I've been in contact with for making this a possibility. I see that this is a very tight-knit organization, and it's nice. I appreciate you guys. I'd like to start by just talking about myself a little bit. I've lived here for about 15 years. I was born here, but mainly raised in Mexico and made my way back eventually. Right now, like they were saying, I'm a plumber. I do things locally here in Sebastopol and Marin, or wherever it's needed right now. In order to support this venture that I've been doing right now, it's kind of what we need to do. Unfortunately, the arts is not something where you can make a lot of money right away, so I'm just trying to figure it out as I go along. It's kind of a crazy jump to go from plumbing to like art, you know? You know, it's got art itself, but you know, it's still interesting. So I've been at this location, which is the Old Funkin' Flash, since June of last year. We opened in October. Our opening event was something that I wanted to kind of like highlight my background, where I'm from, and what I hold important. So we started out by having a community altar for Day of the Dead, which is usually on November 2nd. What we did is we put a call out to the community and let them know that, hey, you know, we're doing this. If you have mementos or you want to set up an altar for your family and for your loved ones as well, you're more than welcome to. We had quite a bit of a turnout. We had about 7, I think it was, at the end it was about 9 altars, just with all the different people bringing stuff in, and that was amazing. We kept that up for about a month, and people coming in, giving donations and stuff like that. It was amazing. We had Elsa Cavazos write a little blurb about us. I was trying to make that available, but I'm in contact with her to make it available again. This is kind of like the front, from the front to the back. This was our group showing, which the point of me putting together this gallery, by living here a few years, I was kind of taking a look at the ones that were already in here. And I saw that it was just kind of like the same thing, you know? They were all pretty like similar in the way that and the type of art that they showed and the type of artists that they recruited. And I just wanted to do something a little bit different. The whole point of me doing this gallery was to kind of give a space to everybody who's underrepresented, young up-and-coming artists who, it's not their living, Art is a way for them to kind of express themselves and kind of release a little bit of steam and just feel inspired. We started putting out calls to the community when it came to that. Our first group showing, which you guys can kind of see right here, we had a total of about 16 different artists who brought in pieces, and we were able to kind of put it together. We've had a good turnout in every single one of the events that we've done. We've done about 7 different events since we opened in October, and it's just been a true blessing to see the moments when we have people come in and they bring their family to show them their work, just the look on people's faces and the way that they feel. I've had a couple of people come up to me say, like, I never thought that I'd be able to put my art up in any type of gallery. So that in itself has been, very rewarding. It's been very rewarding. Also on Monday nights, what we offer is a artist and models night where we have a live model come in. We have about 6 to 10 artists come in and paint their lives, about 3 hours. We have Stanley Mouse coming in every once in a while, and he kind of like sits in and kind of inspires everybody with his work. Very talented artist, very humble human being. And this is what it looked like before we were putting it together. So we built those walls, we cleaned everything up and gathering the art, staging everything. That's something that I couldn't have done without my art director. His name's Nathan Silva, and he's been my right-hand man throughout this whole journey. At first I thought, being a plumber, it's like, okay, I got a pretty good construction background, we can make things happen here, but when it came to like hanging up the art, that's when I realized that there's a lot more to it, Fortunately, he's been involved in the local art community. He volunteers at Chimera Maker Art Space, and he just like started showing me what it takes to actually hang up art, to make sure it's nice and even all over the place. It's very, very interesting. So it was a big, big learning curve for me. There's just some more pictures. So we offered, all these different artists had every kind of medium. You can see here in the front, and we had a young woman do like kind of like hanging ornaments with bones, which is pretty awesome. We had another person that was doing paintings on old vinyl records. Had people do paintings on windows, to where one of the people that come in for our Monday night class, there was somebody had dumped a big old like 6-pane window panel, and he just picked it up and he started like painting the model on it, which was like incredibly amazing. I should actually bring a picture of that. These are some of the people that were involved. As you can see, there's a lot of them, and they all come from different backgrounds, all have different mediums, and it was just nice to see the variety of imagination that's just provided by each and every single one of these people that came. Here's a little bit more of the Monday nights. A little bit of that. That was our other event, which was called Psychedelic Spring. Again, there was about 15 artists that brought all their art in. We were able to make some sales, and right now, the way that we have this figured out is, I was asking different art galleries, right, like how much they would charge individuals to bring their art in. Most of them were like 50-50, right? So we get 50, they get 50%. I didn't really want to do that, just because I know that just coming up as an artist is pretty hard. So the model I decided to follow was, we'd get 30% to help us keep the lights on, and we'd get 70% to the artists. That way, the best way to keep artists making art is to put money in their hands. Keeps them motivated, and it just keeps them in a good place. This is one of my favorite pieces that we actually have for Psychedelic Spring. If I could afford it, I would have bought this myself. And it actually was not that expensive. It was, I think, about $5,600, which is, for the time and effort that this took, it's an amazing piece. Here's some more sculptures, and we have a table that was made by one of our local artists who, the variety was just amazing. It kept me inspired. Every time I would walk in there, I kind of like look around and be like, oh yeah, we did this. I think it was pretty cool. That is at the front. We also have some live plants. We have vintage things. We go out and kind of source different things for different people. We kind of want to have a wide variety of things that we offer. And our last event was to highlight, it was Juneteenth, so we had 2 African-American artists come in. This has been my favorite exhibit up to this date. Fortunately, our closing event was last weekend, so these are no longer available. I will get some more pictures up on our social media. If you guys are interested in following us and our progress, you can find us at Galeria Monarca on Facebook and also on Instagram. We had a fashion show as well on July 29th. The event got incredibly packed, which was amazing to see. It was just, this has been quite the journey. Right now, the thing that I'm finding a little bit of difficulty with is how to, like, how to afford the rent, pretty much. That's pretty much it. Right now, the way that things are, it just keeps going up and going up and going up. So we're in the process of maybe finding a different location. So if anybody knows of anywhere here in Sebastopol or just in the surrounding areas, you know, that'd be greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, being on Main Street, it's, you know, I'm a plumber, but there's only so much work that I can do by myself in order to afford that. Any questions? Yes, sir.
What's next?
What's next? That's a great question. So right now we're working on our website. So we actually have what's called a Patreon, which provides different levels of membership, right? Where the lowest level will give you like merchandise, the second level will give you like a monthly curated box of like vintage things mailed out to your house, also invitations to our new events. I think the next event that we have in mind is going to be mid-August, which is going to be basically thanking everybody who's been involved up to this point. You guys are more than welcome to attend. And after that, I think we're going to close it off by doing another community altar in October. I feel like that's an important thing to do. That's something that meant a lot to me. And just to see the way that it inspired people around me that didn't necessarily know what it was about. A lot of people think the Day of the Dead is just like, oh, just skulls everywhere. That's kind of what it is. It goes a little bit beyond that. It's about honoring our lost loved ones that, you know, they're not lost, they're still with us, you know? It's about remembering them and giving them a day and showing our love. Yeah. So I think that's what's next. Yes, sir.
We're having our social this Friday right next door to you. Are you going to be open this Friday night?
This Friday night, we're actually taking down the exhibit, so we will not. We will not be. We need a little bit of time to kind of take everything down, clean the place up, and start putting up our next exhibit. All the way in the back first.
When are you open to the public and can one just walk in or what?
Absolutely. So we're open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like I said, right now we're in between exhibits, so we're going to be closed for a minute. I'd say for the next 2 weekends we're going to be closed. At which point we will have that opening event, and we'll put that out on our social media for everybody to be aware of that. They're more than welcome to come.
How do you get your artists?
So it's been kind of an interesting process. My art director works and volunteers at Chimera Makerspace, which is right next to Benedetti's, I believe. He's in contact with a lot of different artists that do different crafts. We have this young man that I believe is 18 years old, and he is focusing on being a blacksmith. So he's been making his own knives and his own like kind of kitchenware, which is pretty amazing to see. But that's our main source, you know, people that we know personally, and it's just grown organically to where we are right now. Yes, sir.
I have a friend who's a 3D printing maniac. Would any of those sorts of things be appropriate?
I mean, I don't see why not. Like I said, this is a space for everybody. This isn't just one type of medium or one type of like person that we welcome. We welcome everybody across the board. You know, we've had really young artists also come in that is, like I said, they never thought that they would be able to have their work in an art gallery, and I'm just incredibly honored to be able to.
Some of the things he makes are incredible.
So here's the thing, I'm gonna give you a card. Let's do this. And I will have some more cards that I'll leave up here. If you guys. Oh, the plumbing card too. I didn't bring that, but yes, my information for sure.
Just tell us how to fucking hold it.
Right? Any other questions, you guys?
Yeah, which phase are you in?
So I'm in the old Funkin' Flash building, which is right across the street from Hot Mug. It used to be one place.
Right next to GTOs.
The old GTOs, yes. So also being in that place has been something else. I don't know if you guys know, you probably know better than I do, but I was kind of educating myself a little bit over the location that I was in. It used to be an old movie theater. It also used to be an old hotel. It actually crumbled and they had to rebuild it. So I have all these, I should have brought those pictures as well. Oh, look at that guy. But yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Like I said, this is for the community. I've been blessed to be able to have this opportunity to do it, and I'd gladly do it again and keep doing it. Right now, my plumbing business is kind of getting in the way, and we're getting pretty busy too, so I got to organize myself and get a little bit more help. I appreciate you guys having me out here. Everybody's incredibly kind. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you guys in the future.
We give our speaker a speaker gift. And so we hope you will think of us when you use this mug. And I know you're busy, but you're always welcome to join us for breakfast. And in this who you know world, this is a good place to be. So maybe you'd even consider membership.
Ooh, thank you so much. I appreciate
So we're
you guys.
grateful, and we look forward to supporting you in your ventures. And I think it's very important to indulge your creative side. We all work so hard, but you've got to make time for that creativity. So thanks for making it available for so many.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys and your support. Thank you.
So we have a bit of time. I'm going to backtrack here a little bit. Welcome back. Michael Phelps.
You're gonna know the verse of the song?
Yeah, let's just keep the
Oh,
song.
the day is early.
Around the world.
This is Grateful Dead versus,
Yeah. You know what? When you lead the meeting, you can do it any way you want. So, here we go. That's the right hand arrow. There we go.
Okay, so some of you.
Yeah, got it.
So I think many of you know that for the last 3.5 years, I've been in a domestic relationship with a Thai American, preferred name is Wee, W-E-E, and it's not W-E-W-E-E. So if I start talking in the first person plural, it's... Anyway, so he and I left May 1st to go to Thailand. And the intention was to go for 3 months. And during that time, we wanted to reconnect with his family. He has a big family there, 5 sisters. 4 of them are older sisters, 1 of them is younger. And property that he has there, which includes a house in the mountains, a house in the city of Chiang Mai, and a brand new farm that was really a big focus for our going. So we started off, how do I point?
Your right clicker. Oh, the pointer's the red thing.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah, it pointed it. Oh, yeah, it's up there, I saw it. A little lower.
Hitting the ceiling.
You might have to come around.
It doesn't always work on the screen.
Oh. Works on the wall, great.
Okay, all right, never mind. So the top circle, you see there are 3 circles. Forget about this thing. The top circle is, we started off in Chiang Mai, which is not the top circle, but the one right below it. Chiang Mai is kind of the capital of the northern part of Thailand. And that's where the city house, I'm going to talk quickly about 3 different places. The city house located in the city of Chiang Mai. And we started off there. It's a beautiful city with a very long and complicated history, with an old part that goes back for hundreds and hundreds of years. And from Chiang Mai, we spent time there. And, well, let's see how we're going to do this. It's a little hard. I don't know if you can see these pictures. They're pretty small, but we went up to the border closer. I'm not doing this very well. Went up to the top circle, which is a tiny community of Tantan, which is right on the border with Burma or Myanmar. And that's where he has a house in the mountains that is rented out most of the time. to an American from Sacramento who pays a total of $200 a month for this very lovely house and a very large piece of property with mangoes and papayas and coconuts and, you know, all of this. So one of the most amazing things about Thailand is that everything costs at least or no more than a third of what it would cost here. The prices, if you have an American retirement budget, you can live extremely well there. So everything is very, very inexpensive if you're on a on the US dollar. So this is a conglomeration of pictures, and I guess I'll just won't be able to go through them all. One of the big purposes for our trip was to develop this farm. And this house, this is a gazebo, and these are pictures on the farm, most of them. The farm has a couple of purposes. One main purpose is financial, which is to raise birds, poultry, including birds like this, pheasants, peacocks, chickens, ducks, geese, all kinds of poultry that have been sold in a local outdoor market by one of his sisters, actually two of his sisters and one brother-in-law. So they live on the farm, they raise birds, they sell the birds. And this house, we was able to oversee the purchase of this property and the building of this house from Sebastopol, which I think is absolutely incredible. The house is called a knockdown house, and it's built in the northeastern part of Thailand, then transported by truck all the way to Chiang Mai. So coming all the way across the country. And surrounding this area are tiny, tiny village roads that, I mean, I have a place up near Cazadero, and I think those roads are small. These roads are much smaller, and not only are they smaller, they're full of activity, and nothing is just empty. You've got houses, you've got shops, you've got roadside markets, you've got dogs running across the street, you've got people on motor scooters, everything going down these little tiny roads. And so this truck brought this house through these tiny roads, and it absolutely is staggering that they were able to do it. It came in a couple of pieces, so there are bedrooms upstairs, a bedroom downstairs, a kitchen, and a living room, and the whole thing was then reassembled in the two big pieces that were shipped on site. This is a gazebo that's across, if you were sitting in the house, you'd look straight out and you'd see this gazebo. And there's a canal that's now filled with water lilies, but this area was completely vacant. It was a deserted area. And all of this was developed from here with the hard work, extremely hard work of his sisters and his family. So it's a big tradition in Thailand for people to take care of each other in the family, and they do it in a way that I've never seen anywhere. Much more, I mean, we think we take care of our family. Oh my God, it's nothing like it. I mean, every single person in this family has given something to other people in the family, property, house, whatever. And everybody, this family started with a single mom and 6 children living in a tiny, tiny village. And it's the whole evolution of this family is quite astounding, which I'd like to talk about another time. This is me working on the farm. I was not much of a farm worker. I don't think it was it's not my strongest suit for sure. Harvesting fish, they also raise fish. They raise bamboo, they raise all kinds of vegetables. We spent a lot of time developing the greenhouse, which you can see some of the plants, and they also sell what we would consider tropical plants. I think we're out of time, aren't we?
I think we're close. I know you'll come back.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. magazine. We have a raffle. I didn't play, so I just tickets.
Scott, you need some more water?
Okay.
Need some more rocks for you?
The winning number, the last four digits are 3395. All right, Terry. Good luck.
Get him the money.
Marty didn't buy it.
I don't have any money in my wallet.
Yeah,
Thanks for opening the car to get some money.
It's gonna be a Sunday house.
Did he pay, Eric? Did Marty pay for that?
Good luck.
That's not $2 as well.
Oh, good. All right. Hot Rose. Lottery ticket. And Charlie Judson, do you have a joke for us?
Yeah, I'm back on the joke list. I think I'm on probation though, so bear with me.
Double secret probation.
There were a couple of fairly elderly ladies playing cards together. They've been playing cards for many years, and one of them all of a sudden said, "Wait a minute, you know I've been playing cards once a week for 30 years, and suddenly I can't remember your name. What is your name?" And her partner said, "Oh, sure. But how soon do you need to know?"
Thank you, Charlie. And with that, this little buckaroo Jim Gilliam, we're gonna have some happy trails.
Trails to you,